Yeah. That intro always pumps me up. What's happening, guys? Chuck?
How you doing, Vahagan?
How's it
Good,
going,
good.
guys?
Hey, today's guest, we got Will. What's up, Will?
I just want to say that is an amazing, intro.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Wow. Yeah, I'm happy to have you on as a guest today on Vahagraphy Talk, man. It's quite a pleasure, man. Quite a pleasure because I've been watching your videos, for a few years now, at least 5 years. So
So, guys, I'm actually getting quite the delay on this right now.
Okay. You're listening to it on the stream.
Mute the YouTube.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's do this.
Mute the YouTube, and you'll be fine.
There we go.
And,
that's off now.
Yeah,
Perfect.
So, hey, by the way, nice shirt, Will.
Look at this, man. I'm glad you pointed that out. My favorite band,
Pantera. What's your favorite song?
Man, I'd say Death Rattle.
All right.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. I mean, that's one of the ones that's not as popular, but I'm like a hardcore fan. So
yeah, I like the most popular song they have is Walk. But I like them all.
It's amazing.
Happy to have you here, man. Seriously. Like this is a special treat for me and everybody here. So I just want to get this thing started by saying welcome back, everybody in the streaming in right here, right now. You've been shooting Nikon for some time now, right?
Nikon exclusively. My dad was actually an amateur photographer, and he left me some of his old film gear. I started shooting with that, and I just kind of fell in love with the lenses. The lens selection was always the number one thing, the number one draw for Nikon for me, and I just stuck with it. I've never really viewed photography tools as anything more than just tools, like a carpenter with a hammer or a skill saw or something like that. I've just always felt like if you connect with something, you just, keep using it. I mean, there's differences with every piece of gear and every brand. They do it a little bit differently, but I mean, it's small, I would say. It's nothing too major. And so when you find something that actually works, why change?
So what's your go-to right now? Z6II?
Z6II. Yep. We have a couple of those. I use the Z6IIs, and my wife, Sarah, she still uses the Z6s. So we got some high mileage out of those Z6s.
Nice. So for those of guys that don't know, Will is a wedding photographer, right? You're a wedding photographer out of the Boston area?
Boston area, yep. Wedding photography exclusive. We don't do anything else other than weddings.
Nice. I want to ask you something because you're very known on YouTube. You're very well known for the black and white video, of course. Monochrome Memoirs, right?
Yes.
So how did the name come about?
Man, it's funny because YouTube was completely random for me. I never ever wanted to have like an audience or do this for real. I just was sitting in my office one day and I had an idea just to let people, so we were one of the first people or teams around us to really start shooting with the Z6, and we were the first people to buy the camera at our local camera shop. And when it first came out, there was people just trashing the camera. Like there was so much hate for the Zs, and we had been using them successfully, and we actually loved them. So I just wanted to put out a video from a wedding photographer's, like a professional perspective. And I just literally flipped the camera on, and then I was looking through the filters and I was like, man, this looks way better in black and white. So I just put black and white on it. And then after the first video, that first video got a lot of traction for some reason. It has like over 50,000 views now, and it just got some traction. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I have to actually think of a name for this channel and actually maybe do this for real. And I was just looking at the black and white, and it just came to me. I'm telling you, man, all my best ideas, whether it's photos or anything that I've created, it's all been spontaneous. It's never been some product of like a master plan. It's always, I'm just kind of like an extremist, like the way I live. Like I just do things as I feel, like as the inspiration comes to me, I'll just go along with it, kind of pull on the thread and see if it works. So yeah, that's kind of how it came. Yeah, you know, it's funny too, because like people would say, as I started posting the videos in the black and white, they were like, man, this really stands out. Like people, I'd noticed this while I was scrolling, and it was never like some type of plan. It just kind of happened organically. And I feel like that's the best way for anything to really happen. You know, you just kind of go with your instincts and what's, you know, interesting to you. And if it works, then it could be something big. So we'll see.
You set up your videos are like, I like the mood, the side light, and the black and white. That's a signature right there. And good idea, man. That's separates.
I appreciate it. You know, it's now that you know you're doing photography, YouTube, and stuff like that, and it's part of the reason why I do this channel is it's not just for information. I mean, the information is like number one, but we're doing media, and you have to mix in some type of entertainment with it. You know, it has to be fun to watch. It can't just be like a class like all the time, especially if you want to build some type of brand around it. So I just go with what I think looks good. I'm kind of like I'm into metal, you know, I like moody photos. I like where Sarah and I are big into like exotic portrait lighting. So I just I just kind of wanted to make my own thing, like kind of surrounding it. And also too, like you guys have seen my videos. I take this stuff seriously, especially with like the philosophy and the theory behind photography. Like I want people to understand that if you take it seriously, you can get really good at it. You know, I'm not like a special person. I'm a high school dropout. Like I have a GED. I was in the military. That taught me some discipline. But after that, like, you know, I'm not like anybody super special. I just follow my instincts. And I just feel like anybody else who lives that way or approaches photography that way, and they do it in a serious way, can make something of their own, you know?
Yep. As long as you're original, and you are. And that's one of the things everybody loves about you, Will, is you're no BS. You say it like it is. And I'm just thinking of the last video about the cigar. I mean, come on, people. You know, I love that though, because this is who I am, people. You know, take it or leave it. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. You know, I'm just going to be me. I love that.
Truth.
Hassan says the most down-to-earth straight shooter, no BS photog on YouTube. If he says it, you can believe it.
Hassan, I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I mean that's it. I don't know. Can I curse on this channel?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm incapable of bullshit. Like I really am. I can't get one thing that really irritates me about online, and not just this, you know, influencers in the photography community. It's everywhere. Like one of my hobbies is I ride Harleys and I like to work out. So like those are two communities that I watch on YouTube, and it's like with the exercise stuff, like 90% of these guys are on juice. They're on steroids. And it's like, it's like this facade, like this bullshit. And, you know, it's not my job to care about everything that somebody puts on the internet, but it's just one of those things that like, I just feel like if you're going to develop a community, you're going to have people listening to what you say, man, you gotta be honest, and you can't like come to try and, you know, conjure up an image that's not really you, you know? So I like to smoke cigars.
That Reagan says, are you still using your D700 for walk around?
You know what? It's funny. The D700 ended up at my wife's studio. So Sarah is also, we work together with weddings, but she's also a really, really talented boudoir photographer. And so she has her own studio, and the D700 made it over to the studio because she was shooting with it. And I haven't shot with it in probably like, I don't know, almost a year. And I was telling her the other day, I'm like, honey, can you please bring that back? Because I definitely miss it. It's a great camera.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great camera. Hey, Steve, we're going to get into that a little later in this podcast. You know, where has he been? We really miss. Well, he's back.
I'm back.
So, question: why Nikon? Do you use other brands, but why Nikon specifically?
So no, I don't use any other brands, and it probably holds my channel back, honestly. And I don't do it. I don't not use other brands because I feel like I'm tied to Nikon or something. I just don't use any other brands because going back to what I said, I just feel like the camera is just a tool for me, and it works. I feel the best when I'm shooting with it, and I don't feel the need to upgrade or experiment with anything else. So it's just Nikon completely. And plus, I have all these lenses, that fit on these bodies. Why am I going to go spend money to work with other brands? And, our whole editing process and, Lightroom and our backup methods, it's all based on NEF photos, and everything just works with Nikon. So that's what I use.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Have you tried the Z9 yet?
I haven't, but I was actually talking. I have a representative over at Nikon, and he's trying to get me one to send to me, so I can review it use it at a couple weddings, review it for the channel and all that. So it's like one of those things, man. Everybody freaking wants it, but it's like I guess they don't have a lot of them to send out. They're sending me one of the 28 to 50 2.8 lenses.
28 to 75.
Yeah, the 2.8 one, the new one. They're sending me that, so I'm going to review that.
That's cool.
And they're sending me the 20 1.8 Z lens.
Nice. So, just real quick, do you follow any like news or rumors on Nikon at all?
Not really. Not really. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you're probably too busy with work and stuff and all that. Yeah.
Man, like right now is kind of coming up to the busiest part of our whole season. The end of August through the end of October is like double weddings every single weekend. And so when we're not when we're not shooting, we're editing. We have engagement shoots mixed in during the week. So it's like I literally have trouble coming up with ideas I don't want to say coming up with ideas for the channel, but I have trouble like sitting down and recording it in the middle of all that stuff. So over the winter, I'll start to really get into like what's being released and start to talk about it on the channel. But as for now, I'm just strictly recording videos as like a technique or something that I think could help the community with shooting comes up. Mm-hmm. And then news, I'll mostly focus on that once the weddings die down.
Hey, Carmine from New York, I know him. He's a historian of old cameras. This guy's like a genius. He says, you're good when you master the 50mm monochrome memoirs.
Oh, the last video I put out. Carmine, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, that video was cool. I'm gonna ask you a question on the 50mm right now.
Yeah, man.
Man, check Carmine out though, man. He's dope, man. He gets these cameras and he knows the history. He goes out and shoots film. He has all these cameras I didn't even know existed, man. Carmine, shout out to you.
Respect.
Okay, so here's my question. 50mm 1.2 versus 1.8 Nikon Z lens. What do you tell somebody when they're sitting there and they're wondering if they should buy the 1.2 or the 1.8, or if they should upgrade from the 1.8 to the 1.2 because it costs about 3 times more money? Mm-hmm. What's your advice to that photographer right now?
It's a really good question, and I have got this one before. So my advice would be, if you don't feel like you're really comfortable, I'm a 50mm shooter. Like that is, I use on the wedding day, I use a 28 and the 50, but I'm on the 50 most of the day. And it's a difficult lens to master. Most people will get a 50 because obviously everybody knows about the 50. A lot of the film cameras only came with 50s. And they'll think that it's just something you slap on and then all of a sudden you start making great photos with it. It's a weird focal length to keep you interested. You really have to learn how to work the background and the subject together. So I would say if you haven't really practiced on the 50, get the 1.8 first. You are going to lose a lot of light. I'm telling you that we shot with the 58 1.4 for a long time, and it doesn't seem like a lot of difference between the 1.4 and the 1.2, but there is. And the way that the glass is with that 1.2S, it just works with the Nikon Z body where I can shoot like in the littlest amount of light. And then when I throw them into my computer to edit them, bring up the exposure, the colors don't fall apart. And that's one of the things that nobody really talks about is like, it's not just what you see in the viewfinder in terms of what light is being let in. It's how much can I manipulate the photos in Lightroom after? Because if it's really crappy light, I mean, you try and push that exposure up just a little bit, the colors just fall apart. So
I love how you were saying in your video that when you're using a 50 mil, you have to kind of, you know, look at the background, look at the foreground, look at your subject and all that. That was awesome what you were saying. But if someone's sitting there saying, okay, I have the 51.8, I paid 400, 500 bucks for, should I, you know, pony up for, you know, $2,000 and buy the 1.2? Is it worth it in your opinion?
So it's worth it if you've already found that you actually really like shooting the 50, because it's an investment. So it's not a lens that just you're going to buy and it's going to sit in your bag. If it just sits in your bag for more than, you know, 50% of the time, don't buy it, because it's a huge investment. I use the thing at every single job, so it's 100% worth it. If I broke it or when I lost it or somebody stole it or something, I go out and buy it again, no question. But I would say I did a video on the 51.8 also. That's an insane lens.
It is.
It's an insane lens. It's so good. As long as you have enough lighting, it's amazing. And 1.8 is great. I mean, it really is. The Nikon Z goes up. I mean, you can use 10,000 ISO pretty easily. You have to put some noise reduction on it, but you can definitely bump it up to 10,000 ISO.
You're looking at a lens that's not only 3 to 4 times the money, but bigger. Huge. You know, 50 is huge.
Dude, the 50 is a cannon, man. It's like this big. It's huge, and it weighs a ton. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't absolutely love, if the 50 isn't a staple in your workflow and you're just kind of, you know, getting used to it, or you're an infrequent shooter of the 50, go with the 1.8. If you're a pro, you have the money to invest. The 1.2S is beautiful and it's worth every penny, but it's an investment.
Nice. Yeah, and it's pretty sharp wide open, the 1.2.
I shoot at 1.2 all day long. All day long in a wedding. Seriously, I don't ever miss focus. Whatever I'm focusing on, I nail it every single time. I never, unless it's like insane, hard, bright, direct sunlight, and I have to stop it down just for the exposure. The rest of the time, I'm at 1.2.
I have a question. Do you ever use the little display on the lens?
No, I shut it off because it wastes battery.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. Right? I mean, it looks
it's cool. A gimmick. It looks cool, but it's useless, man.
You show your friends, ooh, look what my lens can do.
Yeah, look at this thing. It lights up. No thing. I just shut it off.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Chuck?
Sir.
How you liking those M&Ms?
Loving them, man.
Chuck, you're making me hungry over here, man.
Hey, sorry about that.
Hey, by the way, Chuck's famous for his you know, he has live streams two times a week.
Oh, awesome.
On his channel, AP Studios. So
well, I'd love to come back sometime, do another one.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna ask you a question, but Chuck, feel free to cut in anytime. All right, bro?
Oh man, I'm enjoying the conversation.
All right. Can someone that's starting out in weddings right now make an honest living these days? Honest opinion.
Yes, 100%. And I don't know if you heard, like, it was actually the video of me smoking a cigar in my backyard, but Sarah and I are starting filming our masterclass the second week of October. And it is going through literally the start to finish, down to like bare bones, everything about actually starting and running a wedding photography business. And I just want people to understand that there's always going to be a lot of photographers out there, but there's not a lot of good ones. Okay. And so if you can approach this in the right way, you can develop your creative eye, you can follow your instincts in the right way, and you can learn your gear like the back of your hand, so you're able to transmute your ideas into photographs, you will be successful. I truly believe that 100%. It's just everybody wants to be a creative person, but nobody really approaches things in the right way. They think about what type of money can I make? You know, how quickly can I quit my job? I mean, I worked a second job for a long time while I was trying to sell photography work. You know, you have to approach things from, I want to be a good photographer and I want to tell a good story in a unique way. And if you approach it like that, you definitely can. 100%.
So, but my advice to people, because I also do weddings, my advice to people is learn the craft.
Yes.
Learn the craft.
And the history.
Take time to study for this photography thing, you know. Because a lot of times they see their friends doing it and they're like, oh, he's actually making money and going out and partying too. It's not, you know, it's not the case. It's hard. It's harder than you think sometimes.
Yeah, I can say for sure that out of anything in my life that I've approached from anything other than the goal of just being good at it rather than trying to do it for money or something like that, it never works out. You have to approach photography. It's a creative pursuit. There's risk involved where doing something creative for a job. I don't know who said this, but it was correct when they said the quickest way to lose interest in something or a hobby is to get paid for it. And I'm telling you, that is a real thing. The average wedding photographer lasts 2 years in this business. And the reason is because they get inspired. They start doing it. Oh my God, I'm making some money. I have this little business going, but they don't know how to approach it from the way of that maintains longevity, and to stay inspired and to build a brand and to build something where you're actually providing a service for people and making their lives better. So you can do it, but and like I said, there's a million photographers out there, but there's just not a lot of good ones.
Yeah, very true. You know, that's why I started my channel, Will, to inspire others, you know, to do it the right way. Sometimes I don't do it the right way, but at least I share my mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, but Jet Photo says, we miss you, man. Everybody misses you.
I'm back. You guys pulled me back in.
Just when they thought it was out, they pulled me back in.
No, happy to be back.
So what are the 3 tips you can give a beginner that's wanting to get into weddings? 3 tips.
All right. So first off, you have to have at least some semblance of a portfolio with people. Okay. With shooting people. A lot of people will go out and they'll be an amateur photographer shooting landscapes. That's what I started off with, travel and landscape stuff. And then they'll try to book weddings based off that. You really have to just work on your inner circle and just build up a portfolio of people. It doesn't need to be crazy, but you have to have some photos of people interacting together. So do that first. Second thing is make sure that you don't need a ton of gear, but you have to understand. 2 lenses. I mean, literally, that's all I use. I use 2 lenses all day long. I don't use any zoom lenses, anything. So you don't need a ton of gear.
Not to cut you off real quick, but honestly, I could shoot a wedding on a 24-70. Yeah, I'm not going to get like the portrait background blurs and stuff like that. But if push comes to shove, I could shoot a wedding with just that lens. But go on.
Yeah, no, I mean, not to derail the conversation, but I actually had a video on this. I shot a whole wedding with a 50. Just the whole wedding. I didn't shoot any other lenses. And it came out great. I mean, not every wedding I could do that, but this particular wedding, I was able to shoot the whole thing. But what I'm saying is you don't need a ton of gear, but the gear that you do have, you have to know it like the back of your hand. Like I can't explain to you guys how seriously I took this in the beginning. My first camera, I used to sleep with it. Like I used to fall asleep with it in my hand because I was going through the menus and just, had it in my hand. I was obsessed with the thing. It was like Kurt Cobain with his first guitar or something. Like I was obsessed with the camera. So you have to know all the buttons, all your menus. You have to know your focus modes, because when you're shooting a wedding, you can't do a redo of the first kiss or, the speeches or whatever. Like you have to know exactly what you're doing with the gear, and you can't be fumbling around in the middle of it, because your presence on site is a big contributor to how good your photos are going to be. So if you're
one tip for business though, the business side of things, one tip.
Okay. So business side is I'm more of a creative person. I'm not naturally good at business, which means my mind is all over the place with things. Make sure that you have good software that's helping you, a good CRM, customer relations manager software that you actually know how to use, and you're keeping up with your emails. Everything's marked down, and it's like that analytical part is you have to pay attention to that. There's the creative, and then there's the analytical part.
Hey, 247 says he shot a wedding, the whole wedding on a 35. Were you a guest, Amar?
Let's go, man.
What'd you do with portraits? So yeah, everybody's saying love having you back, man.
Awesome.
You know, that means, you know what? I really enjoy your videos. Well, like seriously, but let's talk about
Thank you guys.
Let's talk about YouTube for a second. Chuck, you have a question for Will real quick? I'm gonna get into this topic real quick.
No, not so far. Just looking at all the comments, and everybody is talking about that. But somebody did ask something. Did you mention a tutorial or something coming up? Will, somebody asked if that's going to be on a Patreon or thing or something like that, or is it just going to be a video that you're going to release?
So we have our own dedicated website for it. So you'll be able to go to the site, and what we're going to do is we're going to have the whole masterclass. It's going to be a specific video. It's going to be a few hours long with all of our ideas and everything that we do. A ton of behind the scenes. Our videographer that we hired is actually coming to weddings with us, and he's going to film us behind the scenes, working with the brides and the couples on real jobs. And so we're also going to have a consulting thing where you can add on to it, and you can actually get, you know, phone calls or live streams with us specifically to ask about your business, how to start. And that's going to be a separate thing, like actual web page for that.
Yeah, I think awesome. It was Hassan was asking about that. So you might already have your first customer for it.
Excellent. I appreciate it, buddy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You know, just the ability to just help somebody. That's what gets me going. That's what gets me inspired, you know? And I always tell people, man, I don't have all the answers, man, but you know, I can tell you what I've learned and what kind of mistakes I've made, you know? So I want to talk about YouTube for a second. All right.
Sure.
Let's talk YouTube. Has your YouTube channel helped you out in the photo business, and discuss the negatives and positives on that platform? What do you love and hate about this?
It's man, I know how much time you guys got here.
But just let's talk about let's talk about if it's helped you in your wedding business.
Yeah. So this is an important conversation. So it has driven traffic to our wedding business. And the reason why is because on every video, I put the link to our actual portfolio. And the reason why, you know, it opens up our actual life to the internet. Okay. And so when I post a video, there's a certain amount of people who just get a chill up their spine and just like, oh my God, this guy's posting again. I freaking hate this guy. And you're going to just get a certain amount of people like that if you're putting your ideas out there in public. So we're linking our actual business and our actual work because I want people to know that I'm real. I don't want to just get up and do videos and just be like, hey, trust me, I know how to take photos. It's like, no, this is what our stuff is. You can go look at our photos. You can, you know, look up our business. We're actually real. So that has driven traffic. Absolutely.
Let me tell you a quick story, Will, real quick. A client was debating whether to hire us, and I sent him a few links to a few of my videos on YouTube where I'd review something or I talk about something, wedding, whatever. And 5 minutes later, they call me back and they signed the contract. Like,
there you go.
Like, oh, this guy must be, you know, wow, you know, you actually
he's
teach
legit. Yeah. It validates you for sure, you know, and it drives traffic to your website, which validates you on Google. So it's been good in that sense for sure. But, you know, to tell you the truth, Sarah and I, at this point, we don't even pay for any advertising. We just work off word of mouth completely. Nice. It's all from past clients. And like this is going to go into the masterclass too of how we've built the relationship with vendors and, you know, how we've actually built it. But we don't do any advertising now. It's all come from, you know, word of mouth. But so that's been a good thing. The other good thing about YouTube photography is that I've really found that I've a passion for helping people and to teach this stuff. You know, shooting photos is one thing. I love photography 100%, but I love teaching just as much as I love photography. I really do. It's a different level once you get to a place where you can confidently talk about, you know, how to take somebody from, you know, zero to, you know, their own momentum, and to have a place that's where we're discussing like the philosophy behind this work, because it's not just technicals, it's not just gear, it's the thought process. So I've really enjoyed that. And I've developed a community of people who think the same way as me. But I never gave this any thought. I never started the video, turned on the camera and said, hey, I'm going to be huge, or I'm going to do this for a living, or I'm going to turn it into a big brand.
Yeah.
So I'd never thought, okay, once you put your ideas out there, you're going to have to deal with a lot of jackasses and a lot of people who aren't in your face. So I'm really old school in the fact that, like, if you have a problem with somebody, you know, it's not automatic aggression, but you talk to them face to face and you figure it out, you know. And if you don't like somebody, you just ignore them. You never see them again. The internet is full of people who have there isn't that relationship where you have to be in front of somebody. So it changes the dynamic of people who don't get respect in their real life, or feel like they're, you know, somebody ticks them off for some reason, and they don't look at the person as a person. They just look at them as some type of like figure and dehumanize them, and then all of a sudden start trying to screw with them. And so I would make videos, I get some trolls, and I'd get pissed. And I'd be like,
you're like me. You're probably like me. Don't take no bullcrap from nobody.
Yeah. And I'm not like I'm not like a, you know, claiming I'm like a, you know, a crazy tough guy or whatever, but like, I don't let people in my real life talk to me disrespectfully if I, you know, especially if I don't deserve it. So with the internet though, it's completely different. So anyways, when I took the time off, and I didn't leave because of that, it was more so when COVID hit, I really saw the way that people were acting online. It's like everybody was locked in their houses and they were online letting out all their frustrations. People were just like, it was either this wild, like the world's going to end, or else this other side where it's like, we need to completely, you know, stay in our house forever, and, you know, or else we're all going to die. And it's like, I just couldn't be a part of the online conversation anymore. I was like, I just need to get out of here and just go live my life. So Sarah and I did a lot of traveling, and we just focused on our work 100%. And we just let social media kind of go to the, you know, fade to the background. And throughout all that time, you know, and this is where I really love my community and I appreciate them. Throughout that time, I was getting messages all day long, you know, usually like 2 or 3 a day, of people being like, where are you? I miss your videos. Please, it helped me so much, the way you talk about photography. And, you know, Sarah and I were she would, you know, say pretty much every day, like, look, you need to go back to YouTube. These people are getting something from you. You're doing something good here. And I just started to think about it in a way of like, okay, if you're going to do anything great in life, there's going to be a certain amount of people who say you're an idiot, first off. And second off, I'm never going to be able to actually pursue this passion of teaching unless I actually do it for real. Yeah. You know, so I just, I needed that year off, which is the time that I should have taken when I first started Monochrome Memoirs, to think about the future and what I actually wanted. I unfortunately did that 2 years into the channel. So like, you know what I mean? It's like, I have a fully formed concept of what I want around the channel. And, I'm more in control of it now, and I feel like I'm less just kind of going with the flow of whatever happens. I'm more kind of directing things.
That's cool. Very nice.
If that made sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. You know, with you know, of course you get negative comments. Was there one thing that kind of, you know, threw you like over the top, said, you know what, I've had enough, I got to take a break? Or
it was COVID. It was COVID, and it wasn't anybody specifically on my channel. It was just more the online atmosphere of, you know, we're all in the house, and you just scroll like Twitter and YouTube and stuff, and it's just people just like, it was like these nervous, fear-based, everybody's fighting, and it's just like, the last thing I want to be is in the middle of conversation right now. I just really, online, I really don't. I just want to get out, focus on photography, the thing I love, focus on my family, and just live my life. And it really was the atmosphere of COVID and the discussions online just kind of made me sick to my stomach with social media in general. But, you know, somebody's got to step up and be a light around here. You know, I mean, somebody's got to provide good content. So.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. So by the way, Will, do you see, like, you see the comments, right? strolling by?
Sometimes I'll pop up on the screen.
Okay. All right. So in case you see something you want to tackle, go right ahead.
Sure. Hey, Jet Photo asked a question a minute ago, and I'm kind of curious about this myself. He was asking you, Will, about being a second shooter or a third shooter for somebody. He said, he has nobody. I guess he's reached out to a couple of people, and nobody wants to accept. Is there anything that somebody that would like to get into this wedding photography and be a second shooter, is there anything that they should do or say, or how they contact people to do that?
So, yeah, if he wants to shoot so what I did in the beginning is I Googled every single photographer in my area, and I was willing to drive 100 miles. I got messages back from like 3 of them, and one person actually allowed me to come on site and shoot with them. So that's one way you can do it. Second off, I mean, the bottom line is you just have to leverage the internet. You're not going to know a ton of wedding photographers around you. I mean, if you're in a populated area, there's maybe 10, ones that you can get in touch with, but you're going to have to reach out to other photographers, and you're going to probably have to drive. You're going to have to find, I mean, hey man, if you want to come to Boston, you can come with us. I'll take you. It's just, you have to find photographers that are willing to take you. And not everybody is, because in this industry, there's kind of a feeling of competition, feast or famine. Like, there's not enough for me, and I don't think like that at all. There are tens of thousands of weddings going on, and I just don't have that mindset where I'm like a poverty mindset where I think there's only a little bit of a piece of pie. So you're going to have to find people like me, and we exist out there, but it's not going to be easy,
Yeah, you seem like a really nice guy. I mean, someone I can go out and get a beer with, talk shop. One day if I'm in Boston, I'm in LA, but I mean, I'll come out to the East Coast. We'll go
Dude,
out.
I'll take you out. We'll get a steak.
Hell yeah, we'll go out.
You're invited too, Chuck.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
That's it. Bring the M&Ms though.
Absolutely.
Is there any rock and roll clubs out there we can go out and check out?
Dude, there are. There's we actually, we're Sarah and I were into jazz actually.
Okay.
For we do date nights. There's like a couple jazz clubs in Boston that are amazing. There's this place called the Beehive, and we go there, we get dinner. It's like a small jazz club, and yeah, we'll do that.
Over here we got the Whiskey Roxy, the Troubadour and all that.
You guys are legends over there. Yeah.
Do you ever come out here?
Been to LA probably 5 or 6 times, but not in a while.
Okay. David asked, do you still farm out your processing because of your volume?
No. So we tried to do that, and it was a nightmare. We tried every single freaking company that's out there, and it's just, I can't lose control of the creative process. I just can't. Like, they never do it right. People don't care as much as you do. You spend more time going back and forth with the editor than you would if you just did it yourself. So Sarah and I we switch off. I'll do 5 weddings, and then she'll do 5 weddings. And
I wondered about that. I mean, it's so hard to connect with somebody that they know your mind and they know clearly what you're looking for. I just wondered about that. A lot of people that farm that out, they give up their artistic license. At least it seems to me.
100%, man. It's not a good business model, I don't think, unless you really are just focused on volume. We're not focused on volume. We're focused on quality. The idea of sending a wedding gallery that looks like crap or doesn't look like I like it to somebody is that's like the worst thing ever. So, maybe it works for some people, but every time we would get a wedding, we would have to email back and forth, and it ended up just taking so long. Plus, we were paying for it. So,
yeah. Right. Hey, Trevor, thank you, man. This is a serious link up. Yeah, guys, if you don't mind right now, everyone that's watching and will be watching this rerun, go ahead and hit the like button, guys. It helps with the YouTube algorithms. Right now, just hit that.
Please,
like
guys.
Button. Will, you know how that works.
Hey, look, people, they're free. You don't have to pay for that. Just hit the like button. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Very little energy.
By the way, at the last 20 minutes of this show, we're going to open up the phone lines. So anybody that wants to call in, I'll put up the number and ask your question, and we'll do that the last 20 minutes. So, excellent. All right, so stick around to that.
Excellent.
So my next question, DSLR versus mirrorless. Should someone buy a new DSLR right now in 2022?
I would say if they're trying to get paid for photography, no.
Okay.
DSLRs are fun to use just because you're a little bit more engaged in what you're creating. It's just like sometimes, people still like to shoot film. It's just you're a little bit more in depth with the process. But I'm telling you, nowadays, if you're trying to do this for a job, mirrorless cameras make your job so much easier, and they don't sacrifice any of the quality. I mean, like, there's something about shooting with the D700. That sensor, that 12 megapixel sensor, is a special thing, and it can give your photos, if you shoot it right, can give your photos a special look. But there's a lot of work that gets tacked on to the process of shooting with that camera, as opposed to picking up a Z6. So if you're trying to make a business out of this, no, absolutely not. Go with the mirrorless.
Nice. Well, with me, it's like a lot of shooters right now are like hybrids, right? So if you're doing video, I would honestly, for sure, go with mirrorless, right?
For sure, yeah.
Unless if you're shooting like with the 1DX Mark II or 3, which those cameras really have good autofocus. But as far as mirrorless. So is the discussion mirrorless versus DSLR, in your opinion? Is it under or overrated right now? Like,
I mean, I think it's a good discussion, but it's just like, I think it's people don't actually let you know who the discussion is for. Like, for professionals, I don't think that there's a discussion. I mean, unless you're shooting very specific things like, I guess sports, you can do that with the Z9. I don't want to say it yet because I haven't tested the Z9, but apparently the Z9 is just as comparable with autofocus and, frames per second as like a D6. But, the majority of everything can be shot on a mirrorless body, and it will make your life a lot easier. So the discussion of mirrorless versus DSLR is really for people who are amateur photographers, who aren't getting paid for it, who have the time to get a little bit more involved in the process. There's, with photography and doing this for a living, there's a time for production and there's a time for wild experimentation. And so when you're on site shooting, you have to do what you have to do to get the photo the majority of the time, and whatever makes your life easier is worth your money. So
yeah. Where have you been to Boston Pizza on Huntington Avenue?
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. That's a good spot. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I mean, like, I love the fact that, again, I'm gonna say this again because your videos, they're so, like, you can learn a lot from your videos. You're just not blowing smoke.
No,
this is real deal. This is like a working professional, sharing advice and giving his opinions and what he's learned. So I really respect your work, Will. Seriously.
Well, I really appreciate that. That's a huge compliment, and that's why I do it. I don't have a big ego. I don't have like an overinflated idea of myself. And that was part of the reason why I was kind of apprehensive about YouTube in the beginning, is because I'd much rather be known for my work and my teaching and what I do, rather than like, oh, Will's like, this or that. It kind of makes me uncomfortable. So when people like tell me how much I've helped them with my videos, or that they're actually valuable, I just respect it and I appreciate it so much.
And not only that, man, your work is excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Perla Images, right?
Yes,
your
Perla
website,
Images.
Perla Images. Check that out. I mean, your work is excellent. You're creative, and I can say that because I'm in the same industry. So you have a great eye. Hey, Huff photo. That's like the most best quality avatar image I've ever seen.
That is really good. I actually saw it pop up. That looks really good. Yeah.
Wow. I'm a hybrid shooter for sure. Good quality. Right. So yeah, man. Definitely.
Yeah, the photography is first, I mean, I am on a search for the perfect photo. I really, really care about creating good work, stuff that is, and I don't even want to say I'm focused on creating something different. I'm focused on creating things that I am really interested in personally. Like, I want to be driven by my instinct for things, And then if it's good or shit, then that's just how it is. Like, at least I know it's honest, because the world, and not to get too like high level, but the world is missing realness. Like there's too much bullshit. Like, people trying to fake things, and it comes across in everything that we do nowadays. And I just want to be somebody who follows their instinct truly. Try and be the most honest person I can, and just create something real. And I feel like, Ansel Adams said this, that if you have 5 good photos every single year, that's like you're batting like 100. Like, you're batting 1,000. Like, that's really good. And I know that was back in the day when, film was very difficult to shoot and it was more of a process. But I'm not searching for every single photo to be good, but the photos that I really put a lot of time and effort into, I want them to be powerful and striking and really point to something that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. You have a question? Go ahead, Chuck.
I was just going to say, Rakesh has asked this question twice, so I want to throw it out there. He was asking you about black and white photos. Do you include those with your clients? If so, how do they react to the black and white photos, or do you not?
Yeah, so we do send them. And so it's funny, like, we've sort of set up a stream of clients that come to us that let us have full creative control over the wedding. And we don't really ask them what type of photos they like, or, the ratios of black and white, or how to, what colors they like, or anything like that. We just talk to them and we say, hey, listen, you're hiring us. You don't have to worry about your photos. Like, we're 100% on it. And we just deliver black and whites as we see them. Like, I'm actually going to do a video about this, when to distinguish when a photo should be black and white versus when a photo should be color, because there's certain instances that I feel like a black and white makes sense specifically. So we just kind of go by our instincts, what looks good. And if a client asks us to turn it into color or something like that, yeah, we'll do it. But we deliver black and whites all the time.
Hey, Jet, I'm gonna have you say this. You see what he wrote here?
Okay. All right, ready, man? Can you park the car in Harvard Yard?
But we had a question here that I think that was a good one here. What is your thought process while using a prime versus a zoom during a wedding? How do you stay out of the way of the wedding?
So this is a great question too. First of all, I don't stay out of the way at a wedding. I am in the scenario, what's going on. And to shoot, you don't have to shoot like Sarah and I do, but to shoot like we do, we believe that you have to get close to things a lot of times. Or not a lot of times, but when the situation calls for it, you have to get close. So during the ceremony, sometimes I'm literally right up there as the hands are exchanging the rings, or I'm right up there close to them, maybe like 2 feet, 3 feet away from them. If the situation calls for it, we're not standing there blasting a million photos over and over. But if I have to get closer for a shot, I'll go in and grab it and then move away. So we're very mobile on the day. We're moving around a lot, and it presents a problem when we're working with videographers. Honestly, when we get to a wedding and we show up and there's a videographer on site, I always pull him aside and I say, hey, listen, unfortunately, this is how we shoot. I'm 100% here to work with you and around you, but I'm going to be getting in close a lot, and I'm going to keep you in mind. We're both here to do a job, but I move around a lot. And I just feel like, and this isn't for everybody, it's just for me, I just feel like with a zoom lens, it doesn't capture the same type of feeling. Like, if you're close to the subject, the photo is going to feel close to the subject. If you're far away and then try and zoom in, it looks close, but it doesn't feel close. So your photos have to convey a feeling, not just a look.
Nice. Oh, good answer. Yeah, I mean, good answer. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, when I don't, like you said, the photographer needs to take direction, because clients are always looking around. Hey, what do we do next?
Yeah.
So that
sure.
that makes sense. I wanted to ask you real quick. Here we go.
Go Yankees. I won't do it, man. I won't do it.
Mossman. Mossman, what's up, man? So, what's in your bag?
All right. So right now it's it's 2 Z6IIs. It's 2 flashes, a flashlight, which is a very specific wedding light flashlight, but it's a Russian company. Actually, it's a company they produce in Russian. Their whole website's in Russian, so I had to get a translator, somebody who spoke English, to actually sell me the thing. But it's actually a light.
So you're using two Z6IIs.
Yep.
You're using 2 flash. What type of flashes are those?
Godox flashes. Yeah, just regular speed lights.
Cool.
And the flash, or the flashlight, it's amazing. It's an amazing light. It has no flicker or anything like that, no banding. But I have that for portraits. And then I use the 50 1.2S and I use the 28 1.4 E lens. And then a bunch of batteries and cards.
So 2 lenses.
That's it, man.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah, we don't even bring our zoom lenses. The 70 to 200. I haven't used it on a wedding in like 2 years.
So your wife, Sarah.
Sarah, she uses a 35 and an 85. So she uses Z6s also, but she uses a 35 and an 85. And we just, like, if we're going to do a lighting, like a lit portrait, we work together on that. Somebody's holding the flash, somebody's shooting.
Okay. So, and she's checking. You guys shoot together
all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
That's cool, man. You heard of Becker?
No. Another photographer?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard of him.
Husband and wife. There's a lot of husband and wife teams.
There is. I mean, if you have a partner, a husband or a wife that is willing to come and do weddings with you, it's amazing. I mean, it doesn't just work automatically. You have to have the right personalities, and they're, like we fight sometimes. We argue about things sometimes, like on the way there or the way back or something. Like I'm kind of crazy on site. Like I got all these ideas and I'm trying to get in the photo, and sometimes I'll jump in front of her or something. You have to learn to work together, but it's great because we come up with ideas together. Like this whole masterclass that we're filming and we're coming up with, it's an amazing process to be with your wife and build something creative. It's really special. It's special because it's something that's ours together. Like the Monochrome Memoirs channel is really just, it's my thing, but I'm trying to get her into it because it's like, I just feel I freaking love that. I love that girl so much. And it's like everything that I do with her, I just feel like it helps. It helps me. It helps elevate me, if that makes any sense. So
has she hasn't been on your channel yet, right?
She's done a couple videos here.
I gotta check those out.
They're way back. We're kind of feeling out the process. Like, do we want to do podcasts, stuff like that? She'd come on when I was, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with the channel. But I kind of built it around these lectures. I sit in my office, I turn on the camera, I put a light on me, and I just talk about what's on my mind. Yeah. And it's kind of hard to bring her into that type of photo or video. So I think the masterclass will be great because then, we're going to have a videographer on site at these weddings, and people can actually see how we interact with the couples and how much Sarah and I are intertwined and connected while we're coming up with shots.
My wife's a New Yorker. I couldn't have her out there taking photos because she would tell people what she thinks. Do you mind? I'm taking a photo here.
Yeah, man. It's got to be perfect.
Real quick, Will, your second lens on your back, you said it was the 28-1.4?
28-1.4, yeah, the E lens.
The E lens.
E lens, yep.
That's a great lens. That's an F-mount lens.
Amazing. It's an F-mount lens. I use it with the adapter. Works flawlessly. I don't even use the new. I guess they have a new FTZ adapter, an upgraded one. I use the old one, the first one that came out, and it's amazing. I never miss focus.
That lens is
beautiful.
It's really sharp.
Very sharp and underrated. Nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it, but
because it's 28 millimeter.
Exactly. It's for some reason 28 millimeters has this like stink attached to it, but it's the most amazing lens because the 24 is just a little bit too wide to have a subject. Like the 28, you can still have a subject with it. The 24 is like specifically like a setting or a scene. The 28, you can still focus on one thing. You have to frame it right, but you can have a subject in the photo, and then also it's always wide enough to do group shots at a wedding. Always. Like, I never get into, and I don't want to jinx myself for all the weddings coming up in September, but I've never been in a situation where I haven't been able to capture a full group shot with it. I love it.
Yeah, guys, by the way, guys, that lens, the 28-14E lens, is an awesome lens. That's
For
why
sure.
that's why that lens costs some money, even
Yeah,
used.
it's like, even used, it's over $1,000.
So I'm guessing it's the same way as you talked about the 50. You got to learn to shoot with the 50. It's the same way with the 28. You got to learn to shoot with that lens, because any tilt angle or anything with the camera, and you get these distorted, you know. So
100%.
Is that the case? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's a great point, man. It's like I said this, I think, in my last video, like the 35 and the 85 kind of just does things for you. Like, it's just, you put those lenses on your camera, everything kind of just looks good. You know, the focal length is easy to look at. The 28 and the 50 definitely takes some work and some practice. That's why they're not popular lenses, but different focal lengths can set your work apart.
I love how your range is pretty much covered between you and your wife. If you want portraits, you got the 85. If you want, or the 50. If you want wide shots, you got 35. So I love the way, and you know what? You don't mess with changing no lenses. You know that this is the only lenses you have in your bag at the moment, and it's all about getting the shot.
One thing I actually forgot to mention, we have a 14-40 f4 that I only use specifically on the dance floor. So I do have that also. So that's my only for my dance floor photos. I never break that out any other time, but because the dance floor photos are a whole different, that's a whole different beast. I can't wait till we have some behind the scenes footage of me at the wedding. I'm insane. I'm actually on the dance floor in the middle of everything, super wide. I shoot at 16 millimeters in people's faces with it. So that's cool. The only other lens. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I can't wait for you to get that. Try the Z9. You're going to love it.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
Ronald says, thank you, man. Will provided high impact content as opposed to the clickbait hate Wheezy shooters endured. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we did. And that's, like I was saying before, that's why I did the first video, is like all this hate towards the Z cameras at first. And I was like, man, that's not my experience at all. I'm not missing I'm not missing shots like crazy. My stuff's in focus. Like, it's a great camera, and the build quality, no one even talks about how important build quality is. Like, if you're
don't trigger me, man. Don't trigger me here.
That's right, Chuck? Like, if you're shooting all day long, you need to be able to bang your camera around and not have it fall apart. Like, I'm sorry. I
did a while the hate for the Z7 when it came out. Of course, it was before the Z6, just because of that. And not just that, but also, I lay some of this blame on Nikon. They never push.
For sure.
They never push the capabilities of the camera that nobody else has, or things like that, to show how well it performs. And that bothers me. It's just a marketing 100%. Thing.
Yeah, that's one thing that they did fail for sure, is they failed on the rollout. They should have had more, less focus on just influencers, been more specific about actual influencers that were really shooting with it, and giving it to them, and really focus and built some momentum up before, because they nailed the production. They for sure did. And they nailed the updates with the firmware and rolling all that stuff out and listening to the community. But they didn't get the word out. And you need to have a influencer, community that's talking about your stuff. You just have to nowadays.
That's right. Absolutely. And they're still not doing that, by the way. So I'll continue to harp on that. So all my subscribers out there realize more rants to come.
Yeah. Yeah. They reached out. Nikon reached out to me last year and basically gave me a rep and said, hey, we like your channel. If we'd like to let you test out all the new Z stuff. It's not, I'm not getting paid for it or anything like that, but it's a line to get all the new stuff as it's coming out. And they let me keep it for pretty much as long as I want within reason. So I can actually have a decent amount of time to take it on real weddings or real shoots and actually use it. So you know, that's good. And they're very responsive. Like I just emailed them the other day and asked, you know, if I could get a Z9, like I was saying, and they're like, we don't have a Z9 right now, but we have all this other stuff we can send you.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's great, you know.
I guess Long Rider, he's from New York or New Jersey, and he said he went to a Fenway game and he treated his daughter with, you know, like a princess, and
awesome.
Everybody was nice in Boston and stuff.
Yeah, Long man. Fenway is a special place. That's a lot of history there.
You into baseball?
Not really. I mean, my brother used to play. He was an amazing pitcher.
Nice.
But yeah, not really into it. But I do love going to games, man. Like Fenway is amazing.
So you're as far as your favorite lens that you've used right now, if you were not to give one lens up, that one lens, what would it be? The 51.2 probably, right?
Man, it's probably the 51.2 just because it makes me money. But I tell you what, man, I enjoy shooting with the 28. I really enjoy making photos with that lens. The 50 is, I like it too. And like I said, I couldn't give it up because it makes me money. But the 28 is really fun. It's really fun. So if it was specific, if I was a billionaire and I just shot for, you know, fun and I only had one lens, I'd probably choose the 28.
Hey, Will, I got a question for you because they're talking about wide angles and wide angle zooms here. When you mentioned 14 to 40 a minute ago, did you mean 14 to 30? Yeah, the new F4 14 to 30 Z lens?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I have that lens. I love that lens.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, I on the dance floor, it's amazing. I never miss shots with it. It's always in focus, crisp. The colors look good, and it's small and light. That's what you need on the dance floor. Because when I'm jumping in and out of people, the last thing I want is like a cannon on the on the end of my camera.
Right.
I have a question for you. By the way, after this stream, that 28E lens is going to go up in price.
Well, I have an affiliate link on my channel. If you guys want to use it, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That lens. So, do you have any time for YouTube? Like, do you ever watch other channels?
Very rarely. I try. Okay, so this might sound weird, but during the wedding season, I try and not look at any other wedding photographers' photos. And when I'm in the process of making a lot of videos and I'm inspired, I try not to watch a lot of YouTube photography because I just want things to be authentic as possible. And I don't want to put out a video because I got the idea from somebody else, I guess. You know, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes somebody will be talking about something and I'll be like, hey, I can explain that in a different way. But I'm focused on trying to create something new, you know, and I just want to minimize the input that I get, you know.
What makes you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to make a video on this topic right now?
Man, it's usually something I think of on site shooting. You know, do something weird or, you know, something will happen. And I'll be like, you know what, somebody's got to know about that. Or I'll just wake up in the morning and it'll come to me. Or I'll be riding. You know, I ride my motorcycle pretty much everywhere in the summer. I rarely even drive my car, and obviously unless it's raining. And just ideas will come to me. It's always from a perspective of, is this going to be able to help somebody though? Or am I just talking shit? Like, am I just like trying to put a video out? If I find myself trying to do a video just to get a video out, I just try not to do it. You know, it has to come from a place of, oh, this actually could be helpful.
But I'd love to see some of your, like, I would love to see a vlog one day from you.
Yeah, you know, people have been asking me that too. You know,
just like something like not photography, like just something your day to day. Maybe, you know, go out on your motorcycle, or you know.
I was actually thinking that's a good idea, because I was actually thinking, hey, it might be fun to just put a GoPro on my bike and then just a microphone in the helmet, and then just talk about photography as I'm riding my bike. You know, because I get all these ideas. Might switch it up a little bit.
That's cool. Let's open up the phone. If you guys want to call and ask Will a question, let's do that right now. Let's see if there's anybody that wants to ask a question on the phone. Hold on. Let's go. Let's put up the number right here. Where are you? There you are. There you are. That's the number.
All right. So those that want to call in, just understand, please ask your question and then hang up and listen to the answer, only because you're what was I going to say? Only because you're not going to be able to hear their answer on the phone. Okay. So just ask your question, then hang up and let it roll.
When do you reach for your flash? Dancing.
That's a good question. So dancing, definitely. And always try and get some type of creative portrait with the flash auto wedding. I go for like 1 or 2 really hyper creative shots with some artificial lighting. Like that's the goal. So during portraits and definitely during dancing, and if there's enough light, if the reception has a lot of windows, there's enough natural light coming through, I'll just shoot with the natural light for as long as possible. But if it falls off, we're doing weddings into late September, October, I'll just set up a light, bounce it off the wall or bounce it off the ceiling.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I use off-camera flash, and I play around with flash, and I also have a few LEDs that I use.
Yeah, the LEDs are great because if you're shooting with a videographer, it helps them out too. It's not like, the flash is going and it's only helping you. It's like, this is helping the videographer. And so all the video and the photos kind of look the same, and it just makes it a more, because I don't like pissing off the videographers. I do piss them off sometimes, but I don't actually enjoy pissing them off. So anything that I could do to help them make it a little bit easier, because I just stepped in front of their, shot that they were trying to get at the ceremony or something. Just something else nice that can help out,
Yeah. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, gentlemen, I've got Amar on the phone, 247 Media Group LLC. Great. Mr. Amar, go ahead with your question.
Question for you, Will. So I think our journeys for the last few years have been exactly the same. It's not even like, here and there. It's like spot on. My question to you is, if COVID did not happen, would you still have taken the year off? I'm very curious to see your response on this, because I sort of know what my response would be. And that was one of the main reasons why I actually walked away from it. And many of the folks that are actually on this live stream today have begged to, come on back. So I'm very curious to get your take on it.
All right. Thanks,
great
Amar.
question. Great question, Amar. Thank you. Yeah, I got it all. First off, I want to say how much I really appreciate the support. You guys who have stuck with me and, checked up on me and just made sure that everything was okay and really missed me, the content that I was putting out. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the community here. The answer to your question is, honestly, I don't know. I was, like I was saying, that I should have had the conversation with myself when I first made that first video and said, hey, what do I want? What's my vision for this channel? Do I want to be an influencer? But I never thought like that. I just started cranking out videos like, oh, I have this, and this to talk about. This will help people. And I just got to a place where, okay, now I woke up and then I have like 10, 15,000 subscribers. And then I have all these opinions flying at me. And how do I deal with this stuff? It was kind of a process of learning as I go. And so COVID was the catalyst, but I think I needed it, honestly.
I have a question, if you don't mind, Vahagan.
No, not at all.
Well, since you started the YouTube thing, and I know it was a while ago, but do you feel any responsibility to continue to communicate with people and respond to what they're asking and saying or whatever? And you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should, but I'm the same way. I feel like now all of a sudden I've got this responsibility. Do you feel the same way?
100%. And, people point that out. If you go through my videos, I respond to literally every single comment. I try to. I mean, I like 99% of those comments are responded to. And it's because I appreciate the people taking their time to watch my stuff and, take the time out of their day to comment. I really appreciate it. I don't look at this as something like, whatever, like I deserve something. It's like, no, like I got up here, I started to make videos. They're fun to watch. They're creative, and I'm giving good information. Like, I've developed a community here. I should be appreciative of that.
It's funny you use the word community, because that's the same way I feel about my subscribers and all the, whether they're subscribers or not, but the community. And we have a pretty good community going. Vahagan's got a great community going. And that's something I didn't find on YouTube too often, other than fanboy communities.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I don't want fanboys. I want people who are with me because they're actually becoming better photographers, and they're people who are grateful. Like I'm grateful for the community, and I want them to be grateful for the information I put out, because I don't get paid for any of this stuff. I mean, I make like from YouTube like views and stuff like that. I make like, I don't know, $60, $100 a month, something like that. It's like,
brother, I have preached that too. I don't get a penny. I don't get anything from YouTube. I'm not monetized yet. And I'm not, honestly, I'm not doing it for that. If it comes, that's great. If it pays, a couple of piddly things like a restream, because I use that to stream or whatever, that would be great, but I'm not doing it for that. Right. And I've said all along, when it's no longer fun, then I'm going to quit. And so far, I've just been having a great time because this community is great.
Yeah, but it's like gotten to a point with me now that like, even if it isn't fun all the time, I still have a responsibility. Like I have a brand here. I have people that are relying on me for, to review new gear as it comes out in a way that because people trust me. So like I can't just like say all the good things about Nikon and then, just try and get, start up some sponsorship deal from them. People trust me. So like, if I say, hey, I would buy this, people go out and buy it. So like, it's actually, at first it was a lot of pressure because I've never been somebody in the spotlight or enjoyed it. But now, since I'm actually finding that I'm helping people, and then people are becoming like, some people will comment on my videos and are like, this is like the best explanation I've ever seen. And it totally made sense to me now. And that is, I have like a responsibility to these people now,
You're like the Steve Perry of wedding photography. Steve Perry is the wildlife guy.
Yeah, right? He's great. He's great. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like the Steve Perry of the wedding world, because everybody respects your opinion and you're no BS kind of guy.
Right.
Straightforward. Yeah. And
people don't I think they underestimate, like they'll start YouTube or something like that, and they underestimate what a privilege it is to be somebody whose opinion is respected. Like that's the same thing with like my family life. Like my kids listen to me, they love me, my wife loves me, and it's because like I'm honest, like, and I do the things that I said I'm going to do. I'm a stand-up person in real life, and I try my best to make sure that the stuff I say lines up with my actions. And then I just bring the same thing into YouTube, and it's a privilege to have people trust you. It really is.
Yeah, I'd say, since I'm kind of doing this YouTube thing too, I started YouTube because of the COVID. Because that's just when I started, so I was at home and I said, let me turn on the camera and just make some videos. So it was the exact opposite for me. But
not everybody has the same story with this stuff, man. But as long as like your content is like, you have the focus on providing some good information with some entertainment. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. I mean, meeting people in the comments, and I read all my comments. Sometimes I don't get a chance to reply to all of them, but I read every single one. Yeah. And so I appreciate everybody that.
It's funny. I had I was scrolling through Twitter last night, and I saw this news article from this local musician, and he was Louisiana, and he was selling tickets to his show, and only 86 people bought tickets, so he canceled the show. And I was like, what a dickhead. Like, there's 86 people who want to come see you, who are supporting you and appreciate your stuff, and you're just going to cancel because you don't think it's enough people, like you deserve more. It's like, whoever comes to your community, like, appreciate that. And if you do, if you treat them right and you respond back to them, you give them good information, you don't, jerk them around with, too much clickbait or anything stupid, then you're going to grow, and you're going to get people who actually hit the notification bell and are waiting for you to post things.
Yeah. I got a question for you. YouTube, I don't know if you do this. Do you have a subscription based option on your site?
Yeah, there's a join button on my thing. There's a join button. I never promote it or anything like that, but Yeah, people want to send me donations or something like that for doing videos, great. But I never really promote it. But YouTube automatically put it on my page, I think, when I hit 20K subscribers.
How do you feel about producing content for premium subscribers?
I thought about that too. But I really, okay, so I have to ask myself what the goal here is. And the goal here is I want to be an educator. Like I want to teach people not only wedding photography, but photography in general, how to develop their own creative eye, how to get better at business, how to come up with ideas, how to, even if you're a pro photographer, how to maintain that level of creativity and inspiration. And so the goal is to put out master classes, things that people can actually like use to make themselves better, rather than just trying to, garner as many $5 a month subscriptions or something. Nothing wrong with that. I just feel like I would put more, it would be more quality if people were waiting for my tutorials.
I think kind of this is the way I'm thinking about the future of my channel. Put out a video, but saying if you want to get into more details on this subject, join, a premium subscription. That way I can really teach and get into it,
Nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's a good, but there's two types of involvement you're going to have to choose between. It's either, if you want people to join, then you're going to have to spend more time moderating, like check, chat rooms and however you have your platform for communication, and really be involved in that. Or if you're putting out paid content, like, master classes and things like that, then it's focused specifically on this masterclass. Like, we're putting all our effort. We hired a professional video company. We're putting everything into this piece of, educational content and making it good, and not only good, but good to watch. And so, like, that's where I want to put my effort rather than managing the communications day to day.
I'm still debating on whether I should. If I do offer a premium service, it has to be really, really good content. I'm not going to make somebody pay.
For sure.
So at least informative content.
People underestimate, man. It's like, people are like, oh, it's just YouTube. They just throw up videos and then they just go all day screw off at the beach. It's like, no, man. Like, there's only so many gear videos you can talk about. Like, you have to really think about what you're saying. Like, and you have to make sure that it's coming across in a communicative way that people can understand, and that you're building trust with people, that people know you're not full of it. Like, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. And also people realize, or they have to realize, that this takes a lot of time. And in order to keep it going,
100%.
the subscriptions help, donations help. I'm going to get with you on that because I haven't really explored that option of how to set up my channel for donations and stuff.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
I haven't really thought about that. But let me ask you a question on your channel. When did it actually grow? Is there a video that you put out when it went to like 5,000 to 10,000, or because you have right now you're at 26, right?
26.2, I believe. Honestly, it's been a straight upward trajectory since the beginning, since the first video. That first video, like I said, it's got over 50,000 views on it. And I look like an idiot. Like, I didn't plan for it. I didn't take a shower. Like, my hair was all, it's like, it wasn't any type of like production at all. And ever since, like, after I put that first video out, I really was like, wow, like, this got a lot of views. So I was trying to like decipher what exactly it was. And then I just came up with, I was like, it's just bottom line. It's informative. Like, people just know, okay, this guy does it for a living. He's using this camera. This is what he says. It's not a commercial. And so every video from then on, what do I know? And I just put out information about what I knew, and the growth happened pretty.
Let me ask you a question and see if you understand my question. It may not come across right, but do you feel like the deeper you get into it, the deeper it gets?
Yes, 100%. I do 100% understand what you're saying. You have to, there's only so much superficial content you can not only talk about, but deal with. Like, I can't deal with just talking about regurgitated boilerplate subjects over and over again. I have to actually talk about real things that get people thinking. And so when you're doing that, inevitably you're going to be talking about yourself more and the things that make you tick and what type of person you are. So like I'm putting my soul out there for people. Like I'm deep into this now. Like people know who I am. Like they know how I think, and like it's it's not the most comfortable thing sometimes, but it's getting traction because it's real.
Real quick, how do you manage dark African American complexions, people in tough, dim church atmospheres?
That's a good question, but I people ask me that. It actually comes up a lot, and we shoot a lot of African Americans. Like we just up the exposure a little bit, and we're just making sure that the flash, if we're using it, is hitting a way where it's not leaving a reflection. Sometimes we have to shoot a couple different times. We really don't. It's not something that we're like, okay, like this person has different color skin. How are we going to do this? It's just sort of we take the photos and we look at it. Okay, we need to tweak some light a little bit, and we just make the adjustment.
Let's go. Hey, Huff, I complimented you on your photo and he joined. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks, Huff. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So again, let's take if we have one more phone call. Let me put up the phone call here, the number, and then we'll wrap it up.
It's a great idea to do the phone call. I like that.
Yeah. It's just some people, they're at work or they can't really talk, or you know what I mean? So they rather comment. But I really like this. Yeah. Chuck makes it happen over there.
Yeah. Chuck, I noticed the southern accent. Where are you from?
Originally Kentucky.
Okay.
My wife's a New Yorker, so we are the odd.
That's a good mix. Yeah, I was born in Texas. I was born in Houston. So.
Okay. Yeah. I noticed you don't have the full-on Boston accent.
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I'm a transplant, so I was born in Houston. My mother still lives in Austin. A lot of my family's still there. Yeah. But I moved to Boston when I was 11 or 12.
That's where. Okay. Yeah.
My formative years.
And that's where the accent comes from. You do have an accent now from New England, and maybe even specifically the Boston area, but it's not the hard accent. But I guess that comes from growing up there and getting all the talk about you talk funny, so you changed.
Exactly. You have to say wicked. Wicked is the thing that we say.
Everything's wicked. Yeah. Well, I'm in Connecticut now, so I get the full brunt of the New England culture here, Boston to New York City.
Well, sometime you'll have to come. Sarah and I go down to Mohegan a lot, so we'll have to meet up sometime. Go get a steak down at Michael Jordan's.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be
great.
That's awesome. So, what's next for you? I mean, do you have any other?
So we're just really we have a really stacked September and October. Like everything is really balls to the wall. Starting the last week, we have this lull in late July to the end of August. And then after that, it's just pretty much balls to the wall with weddings on the weekends, mostly 2 a weekend. So Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday, editing during the week and engagement shoots during the week. And then our videographer is filming in Paris right now. And he comes back on the second week of October. And then we start the masterclass.
Is this going to be your first masterclass, or have you done it before?
No, first masterclass. Yeah, it's going to be the first one. And
are you nervous?
No, actually, I'm super excited. Everything's going to be, we're going to do it in black and white, just kind of, we're the same type of lighting, make it look.
Oh, wait, it's not like you're not with people. It's a video masterclass.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
It's going to be a video masterclass. Exactly. Yeah. It's full production. It's, he's going to be on site with us at weddings and just, working with couples. So he actually sees how we work. Like we try, Taylor Jackson, the YouTube guy. He does. I don't know. That guy's freaking crazy. Like how he does the GoPros at weddings and stuff like that. Plus he's videoing and taking photos. I can't do that. Like I've tried to put a GoPro on my cameras. I literally forget to turn it on all day long. I can't, because I'm so involved in what I'm doing. I just can't. I can't take that other side of my brain and split it between I need to capture content and I need to do my job. So he's going to come on site and do behind the scenes.
The Monochrome Masterclass.
I like it. There's a nice ring to that.
So I got my final question is, me and a few buddies were talking, me, Chuck, and Amar actually got into it, and we were talking about monochrome. what actually is monochrome? And I was like, dude, if the photo is black and white, it's monochrome.
Yeah,
And my buddy's like, Amar's like, no, it has to be captured with the sensor, monochrome sensor.
So I've used those monochrome, those Leica monochromes, and they're great cameras. They're unbelievable, but you can get the same. It's lighting. Black and white comes down to lighting. People don't talk about that. It's not your sensor. It's not your camera. It's not your lens. It's lighting. Like, you can get good black and white photos if you know how to light things correctly.
I agree, man. Lighting is not talked about enough.
It's not. Everyone's scared of it.
Yeah, exactly. We just started talking about that on the stream, lighting, and trying to get people to pick up a speed light to begin with and just play with. So
absolutely, man,
it's not as hard as you think. And with the digital age, you can take 1,000 shots, just change the batteries in your speed light, keep shooting.
Exactly.
And eventually it clicks with you. But yeah, I agree with you 100%.
It's not only light, it's not only your artificial lighting, but it's the natural light, the quality of the natural light you get.
Yeah,
because that light can make or break your photo.
People don't talk about it. And this is another video I was going to do. It's like the difference between like tungsten lights and LEDs. All the light and sunlight, it's all different. It's all different in the direction and the space that the light is in. How big the room is, how small it is, like what you're blocking, what you're going to preserve the shadows with, dark areas. Like it's a science, but that's one thing that you can, if you're looking to separate your photography, start getting into lighting, because most photographers are freaking scared of it. They just want to shoot wide open with natural light as much as possible. They don't want to learn photography, but that's an opportunity to differentiate yourself.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this. This should trigger some people. Maybe it'll open a bigger discussion later on. Flash or off-camera flash lighting is easier to learn and be good at than natural light.
Yeah. I you know what?
There are some people that can shoot natural light and they are phenomenal. But I'll say this too. There aren't a lot of people that can do that.
Correct. I don't know if I would. I'd have to think about that, but I know exactly what you're talking about, because once you learn how to control a flash and you understand how light works, it's like light is like water. You have to think about light as like water, like it's coming out of a hose. Like your flash is a hose, and that's wherever you point it, it's going to spray and it's going to get bigger as it goes out. You have to think about it like water, light like water. And if you can learn how to control light, then you can literally make a scene black, set up a couple flashes, and get exactly what you want.
And I'll say this too. Having your own lighting, be it on camera, off camera, you can take that to your subject. You can't take natural light to your subject. You have 100%. To take the subject to the natural light.
Yep.
And, so look at it that way. How often do you have that natural light? You're going to go searching for it or whatever. Not that it doesn't exist. Don't get me wrong. But
you're not in control of it.
That's right. Flash is there wherever you go. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
That's a good point.
Just real quick, Will, before we wrap up, who's a couple of your wedding photographer heroes around the world?
I really like Fur Waristi. I like him a lot, and our styles are different, but I really like him. He's good because he shoots from the heart. That guy, his stuff is you could tell he really enjoys being a wedding photographer. He is trying to do things differently, and it's authentic. So I really like that guy. And then Kemran Shirilev. So I'm pretty sure I pronounced his name right. Kemran Shirilev. He's from Russia. Nice. And that guy's like a master of light. Like, he is really good. So you can find them on Instagram.
I'm gonna check those guys out.
And then my overall hero of photography is Herb Ritz.
Herb Ritz?
I love Herb Ritz.
Okay. All right. How about Fritz?
Is that somebody? I don't know. Is that another guy?
How about Fro or Fritz?
Yeah, it's an inside joke.
Well, I was like, I haven't heard from that guy.
Yeah.
There's a video I put out. Don't tell him who it is. There's a video. I actually told him already, but there's a video I put out where I ask random people photography questions.
Mm-hmm.
And we show a picture of that person, and someone called him Fritz.
Oh, you talking about because of his hair, Poland?
Oh yeah.
This was just a random stranger in Mozman, who was doing it with Vahagraphy, asked the random stranger, well, what do you think his name is? And I guess he said,
I mean, that makes sense. Makes sense why he would say that.
Yeah, all right. Well, this was fun, man.
Yeah, man. This is great.
Down to earth, real dude. You know, so I really appreciate you coming on here. So again, Monochrome Memoirs on YouTube, Instagram, and perlaimages.com. Check out Will's work, man. The real deal right here. You know.
Thank you guys very much for following along, all the support, and you know, anybody who wants to follow along with the journey, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, all that, and yeah, I appreciate the support.
And Chuck from AP Studios, always a pleasure. Check him out every Wednesdays and Saturdays on his channel, AP Studios. You got live streams. You know, it's like a club over there, Will. We'd love to have you on there one day.
I'd love to jump on again, man. I just, you know, shoot me an email and just let me know. If I'm available, 100% I'll be there.
That's AP Studios, Chuck, Monochrome Memoirs, and you've been watching Vahagraphy Talk. It's another show. We had a lot of fun. Like, subscribe to this channel. More live streams, more videos on the way. All right, guys. Thank you very much. This was a pleasure. I want to thank everybody in the chat as well. Like and subscribe. Check out Monochrome Memoirs on YouTube. Check his videos out. You know why? Because he's back. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, Will.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
guys. Rock and roll. Hey, what's good, guys? Vahagan here from Vahagraphy. If you like more rockin' videos like this one, go ahead and check the videos on the screen and subscribe to this channel, Vahagraphy. Rock and roll.